You ever stop and think about a hospital? I mean, really think about it. It's an environment where the stakes are literally life and death, and things can change in a heartbeat. So how on earth do they manage all that uncertainty? Well, today we're going to peek behind the curtain and check out their secret playbook, a system that helps them not just deal with chaos, but actually use it to get better.
Right, that's the big question, isn't it? Because in a place that complex, just putting out fires as they pop up, well, that's not going to cut it. The truly great organizations, they don't just survive the unexpected, they learn from it. They turn it into an advantage. So, how do they actually pull that off?
So, for our case study, we're heading to the Hospital and Makati in the Philippines. Their secret weapon, the thing that drives their whole approach, is something called a Formal Quality Management System, or QMS for short. It's the engine behind everything they do. Now, don't let the name fool you. A QMS isn't some dusty binder sitting on a shelf. Think of it more like the hospital's entire operational blueprint. It's a living, breathing system that makes sure everyone, and I mean everyone, knows exactly what their role is in delivering safe, high-quality care every single day. Okay, this is where you see the first big mindset shift. For them, the word risk doesn't just mean something bad. It's just the effect of uncertainty on their goals. And that's huge, because it means a risk could actually be a good thing, a hidden opportunity just waiting to be discovered. So who's in charge of all this? The simple answer is everyone. This is not a top-down thing where a boss just gives orders. It's a culture. From the head of the hospital all the way to the newest hire, every single person has a part to play in spotting potential problems and, just as importantly, potential improvements. It's a real team effort. All right, so if everyone's on the lookout for these risks and opportunities, where are they actually finding them? Well, it's not random. The hospital has built a whole network to catch this information. They basically have their antennas up, listening to everything. They're digging into their own performance data, they're listening super carefully to feedback from patients and their own staff, and they're even looking ahead, scanning for big changes in technology or government regulations. It's a complete 360-degree view. And here's where it all comes together. Every single thing they find, no matter how small, gets logged in one central place, the Risks and Opportunities Registry. You can think of it like a team scouting report. It's the playbook where they track every single potential move before the game even starts. But here's the thing. Once you have this huge list of potential issues and ideas, how do you know what to work on first? You can't do everything. You have to prioritize. And the way they do it is by turning those abstract what-ifs into concrete, hard numbers. And the formula they use is brilliantly simple. For every single item in that registry, they ask two basic questions. First, on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely is this to happen? And second, if it does happen, how severe will the impact be? Again, 1 to 5. You multiply those two numbers together, and bam, you've got a risk score. And that score instantly tells them what to do. A low score, 1 to 5, might just mean keep an eye on it. But look up at the top. If something scores between 16 and 25, it's labeled critical. That means all hands on deck. Alarms go off, top management is alerted, and urgent action is taken right now. There's zero confusion about what matters most. Which brings us to the playbook itself. Once they have a scored item, what does the hospital actually do? Well, this is where two key strategies come in. AMET for dealing with risks, and ISA for chasing opportunities. And this is the whole point. They're not just making it up as they go. They have a thought-out, strategic response ready for any situation. You can think of AMETs as their defensive playbook for handling threats, and ISA as their offensive playbook for scoring wins. Let's break them both down. So first up is the AMAT playbook for risks. The first A stands for avoid. This is pretty straightforward. It's about getting rid of the problem completely. So if a certain drug is causing issues and there's a safer alternative, you don't just manage it, you stop using it. You avoid the risk altogether. Next up is M for mitigate. Look, you can't always avoid every risk, so mitigation is all about making the risk less likely to happen or less painful if it does. A perfect example is barcode scanning for medications. It doesn't eliminate human error, but it builds in a powerful safety net that drastically reduces the chances of a mistake. The second A in AMAT stands for accept. Sometimes a risk is just there. It might be very low impact, or the cost to fix it might be astronomical.
In those cases, the smartest play is to simply acknowledge it exists and agree to monitor it. You accept it, but you're not ignoring it.
And finally, we have T for transfer. This is about shifting the risk to someone else who's better equipped to handle it. For instance, a hospital might not have the in-house experts to maintain a super complex MRI machine. So they transfer that operational risk by outsourcing the maintenance to a specialist company. Okay, so that's AMIT, the playbook for defense. But remember, not all uncertainty is bad. For the good stuff, the hospital flips the script and pulls out its offensive playbook, ESA, which is all about grabbing those opportunities. The first E in ESA is for exploit. This is when a golden opportunity comes along, and you go all in to get the absolute most out of it. Let's say the hospital develops a fantastic new app for patients. They don't just use it quietly. They exploit the opportunity by promoting it and making it a new standard of care. The second E stands for enhance. This is about taking a good thing and making it even better, or more likely to happen. Say they upgrade their IT system. They can enhance its power by adding a feature that automatically flags public health trends, giving them an even bigger positive impact. Next up, S is for share, because sometimes an opportunity gets way bigger when you bring in partners. The hospital could run a health awareness campaign on its own, sure, but by sharing the opportunity and collaborating with an NGO, they can reach way more people. It's a classic win-win. And finally, just like with risks, the last letter A is for accept. This is more of a passive strategy. The hospital might not have the budget to actively go out and buy a new piece of equipment. But hey, if someone donates one, they'll absolutely accept the opportunity and put that gear to good use. So once they use the playbook and take action, is the job done? Not even close. The whole point of this system is that it's a loop. It's a cycle of constant learning and improvement that ensures the hospital is always getting better. And that cycle is hardwired right into their calendar. You've got internal auditors constantly checking if the actions are actually working. Every year, each department head has to review their own list to see if it's still relevant. And then it all gets summarized for top leadership so they can steer the ship. It never stops. When you boil it all down, after all the forms and the scores and the meetings, you get to the one thing that really matters. This whole system isn't about paperwork. It's about creating a mindset, a culture of what they call risk-based thinking. It's about getting every single person to proactively ask, how can we make things safer? How can we make things better?
It's a really powerful way to run a hospital. There's no doubt about it. But it leaves you with a pretty big question. If a system like this can build a safer, more effective hospital, what could a system like this build for you?